looking at you. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Right now, we're gonna open up with a prayer and we're gonna go into song and get into the word. Father, y'all, we just come before you. Thank you right now for this day that you have made. We shall continue to rejoice and be glad in it. We just thank you right now for just being with us throughout this day. We thank you right now for waking us up amongst the land of the living and not the land of the dead. We just thank you right now for just constantly leading and guiding us through the rest of this day. We know that this is a day that you have made, and we shall continue to rejoice and be glad in it. In the name of the Son, Yahushua Mashiach, we pray. So be it. Right on here. All right, y'all. We're gonna be the topic of this tied to this lesson today is basically soldiers at war. And once you sign up on the side of Yahuwah and you decide that you want to be saved, and you know the list goes so on and so forth, whatever you're thinking in your head. If you think you're not on the battlefield, then you've been deceived by the enemy, because once you sign up, you're on the battlefield. Just like when you get enlisted to the army, once you get enlisted into whatever military force you sign up with, you're on the battlefield. You're at war with them, whether or not you want to be at war with them or not, you're identified as a soldier. So if you sign up with the Navy, then you're identified, as a Navy soldier. You go into the Navy SEAL, and you're that. So if you're in the Army, you're a soldier in the Army. So in this case here, we're soldiers in the army of Yahuwah. And we're looking at the book of Ephesians, starting off in chapter 6. And we're going to start off in chapter 6. Start out probably around about the 10th verse. And we're going to kind of break this down and kind of get into what is the evil day. We're going to get into the evil day, give example of the wiles of the enemy, the tactics that he used. And one main example we'll give is him going in and, confusing you and destroying your actual standards to get you to be less than, knowing that you're really greater than. So this is what we're going to get into here. And so we're going to look at Ephesians chapter 6, starting out at the 10th verse. We're going to kind of use a few scriptures to back up some of these here. So we do Ephesians 6.
Start at 10?
Yeah, 10. I put 11 on that one.
Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahuwah and the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. So basically, this is what we're looking at. So it said, finally, my brother, be strong in Yahuwah and the power of his might. The problem is a lot of us has been taught to be, strong in the power of our own might and trying to use our own understanding. The word tells us to lean not into our own understanding. And that's where I would say you're being self-righteous at that point. You're thinking that by the righteousness of you can do it. Now you have to put works with faith, but that's not the same thing as being strong in Yah and the power of his might. So when you're being strong in Yah and the power of his might, it actually allows you to lean upon him for the strength that you need. But in order to do that, you have to be obedient to some things that, that you have to be aware of. And so we're looking at what are the actual wiles of the devil? What are the wiles of the devil? So basically, when you say wiles, it's basically a trick, a snare. It's a strategy that he uses. It's like he has a way about doing things that deceives you. And you don't think that you're being deceived because it's a wile, it's a trick. You've been bamboozled, hoodwinked, or had. And so when you're dealing with this, you have to look at, okay, how is it that I can avoid, being caught up in a situation like this, being tricked or being outwitted? Like this is what we have the prosperity gospel, and we have ones that are talking about, a lot of prophecies and stuff like that. And one of the key things is you want to be aware, especially when we're dealing with prophecy in this day and time here, because we know that now, we have the Ruach HaKodesh. If anybody is coming up to you telling you that they're a prophet and don't allow you to use your own discernment, that should be a red flag right there. And if every time they start saying something, they use the term, the Lord told me to tell you, God said, Yah said, and it's constantly that, not giving you a way to, actually put this up on the shelf and discern the matter and see whether or not it's right or not. That's one first wile. That's a wile of the enemy that's inside the kingdom of Yah, where people are claiming to be of Yah, but what they're doing is looking to draw people into themselves. And they're not allowing you to use the Ruach HaKodesh, because after all, God told them, Yah told them, everything they see, they got to have some vision or dream 24/7 spiritually. That's one telltale sign
that you're dealing with somebody that's trying to be crafty, that's really trying to draw you into themselves. And when you see this tactic, you see it from, and it's a lot I want to say, but another wild is like getting caught up into religion. You get caught up into either Christianity or you get caught up into Hebrew Israelitism or whatever that is, because I claim to be the people of the book, not under some type of title that somebody's trying to give me that we don't even see, as an example of righteous living. So basically, you can't get caught up into following anybody that's going to try to, lure you off into yourself where you kind of forget about you need help. Another wild of the enemy is making you be on an island, making you be by yourself, making you think that you're by yourself, making us not come together. That's another thing. Church hurt, stuff like that. You was hurt in the church or whatever like that, stuff I had to get over, being hurt in certain churches. So looking like now in the Most High don't have nobody else available. Nobody else is living right because of the few examples that we've seen. And that's not how the Most High works. When we do that, we belittle him. We say that, okay, the Most High doesn't have anybody. But just like he told Elijah, he said, Jezebel has not killed all the prophets. So I have 7,000 that have not bowed down to the worship of Baal. So it's always somebody available. The Most High is always working on somebody. But what it is, we get caught up into our box, our own mind frame. So we figure, since we don't see anything, that the Most High isn't doing anything and that everybody's just wicked. And it's not like that. We have to look at finding that balance. You have to find that balance in between, you say, okay, look, I know I'm not no longer a Christian. I know I'm not claiming to be a Hebrew Israelite because of what we see. Like when you say I'm a Republican, or when you say I'm, a Democrat, people identify you with the whole group. So when you go to taking on these titles, I'm some type of Greek this or Greek that, a few of them being done something wrong, and then now you identify with that whole group. It's not, so you can't identify with titles. That's one trick of the enemy. Once you do that, what happens is you change your witness. So people start visualizing people on the street corner, cursing people out when you tell them you with this group and then you with that group. They say, oh, they're in there tricking folks out their money and doing this. So you can't identify with a group that's been created by people. You have to look in the book and say, okay, who am I? And when you find out who you are, find out the bloodline and everything that's going on to be truthful, then you have to look at it and say, now, what is my job now that I found out who I am? Like, how do I understand the tricks and tactics of the enemy? That was one trick, like I say, being alone is a trick of the enemy, getting you off to yourself. Another trick is identifying with certain cliques, groups, and camps. Another trick of the enemy, cults. People create cults to try to prey on those that have been hurt and people that's been abused in certain religious institutions. So when they get these cults together, they get a bashing session going and show you how evil these people are and how evil these people are. Will come to us. We'll be good to you, then they be evil to you. And the next thing you know, you find yourself in another trap of the enemy. That's the thing. So we have to learn how to outsmart the enemy. You know what I'm saying? One of my main things I looked at was we're playing chess most of the time, and the enemy is playing, and we're playing checkers basically, and the enemy's playing chess. When you're playing checkers, you have to look at the whole goal. The objective to that game is to gather the opponent's pieces, to gather all of the opponent's pieces. So you have to get all of the opponent's pieces to win that game. That game can be very simple, but when you're playing chess, it's just to put that opponent's king into checkmate. Once you put him into checkmate, it's over. You don't have to get all the other pieces. You put a strategy for, he may have most of his pieces still on the board, but you put him into checkmate. Once he's into checkmate, no more moves can be made. It's over. And that's what's going on. The enemy's been putting us into checkmate. And we thinking just since we got more pieces, that is okay. It is not okay. The enemy put you in the checkmate and you see a lot of things going on, you figure it's still good. I mean, you're still breathing and living. You figure I'm not dead, so I got a chance, right? You got a chance, but most of the time the enemy's ensnared you mentally to the point where you can't think straight. And so you're thinking just because I'm playing chess and I'm playing checkers and I got more pieces, that it's not over yet. And I'm still, it's not over, but the problem is you've been outwitted. You've been outsmarted. So he used a strategy against you that you don't even know how to play. My thing is, I'm saying, like, we're on the battlefield and don't even realize that we're on the battlefield. We figured just since we got saved that that's the end of it. No, now you got to fight. And that's the thing. So nobody's fighting. And so the enemy is overpowering them. And it's like, it's so much stuff that he used to ensnare us, because once you get caught up into religion, you start thinking, okay, now that I'm following the dietary law, now that I'm keeping the commandments, everything is good. Well, it's stuff inside of that. Another trick of the enemy is the foods, certain things he's done to the food. And this goes into much is given, much is required. So if you don't know, sometimes it's best some people don't even know it, because once they find out, now they're held accountable, so the grace level dies down. So the Most High doesn't give you grace to be ignorant once you find out the truth. That's the thing. So like, so like the word say, he that want to be ignorant, let him be ignorant still. But people that want to know the truth, then you give the truth unto them. But once you get the truth, it comes with a greater responsibility. And the responsibility means that now that I know that, and I hate to keep using this, but now that I find out that the bovine is no longer the real cow, the cattle from back in the days, I'm not going, okay, I done found this out. I can't erase that information out of my mind. So I have to go forward and say, look, I got to leave that alone, because this isn't an actual pre-animal. This is something they create. This is like a monster that I'm protecting of. So I'm just giving an example of the wiles of the enemy, because a lot of people that, not condemning people that, eat beef and thing, but a lot of people that eat it, the dairy messes them up. I had one testimony of a lady saying that she got rid of gout in about 2 weeks by just cutting dairy out. And this isn't to put a burden on nobody. I'm just saying that's information that's been learned, another trick of the enemy. The cow has been produced for mass production. They created him so they can make money, so they can make it quicker, feeding them corn rather than letting them graze the field and eat the grass like he's supposed to eat, causing issues inside of him which pass unto you. So it's just a lot of stuff. That's just one example. That's not even the real big issue. That's just one small example. The key things are learning that there's strength among numbers, and learning that through unity we can defeat the enemy. That's one thing. That's the thing we have to look at. And I don't like saying a lot of stuff. I like people to do most of their own research. But when you look at all this type of evil stuff and everything that goes on, just to keep it basic, they come together. And they come together in circles, and they do stuff, and they conjure up stuff, and they come against you. And you're sitting there all alone, twirling your thumb, thinking, okay, man, why is this happening? It's happening because there's a kingdom fighting against you. And you don't see it because your eyes are not open to the spiritual realm. All the carnality that goes on in the Christian church, and that goes on into the group that's saying they're a Hebrew Israelite and all this stuff, it's so much carnal stuff going on till they're being fought against. People in their camps are dying, and they don't know what to do about it. Well, the reason why, because they have not first found out what's going on. They don't even know they're in the middle of a war. It's like once you find out who you are, don't let that be like a lifeline or some type of safety factor. Say, okay, now that I find out I'm the people, I'm safe. You're not safe. You find out you're the people. That's just one step that gives you a greater responsibility. That gives you a responsibility to say, now I got to fight. And you're supposed to have been fighting, but you really need to fight now, because now you're a bigger target. Like that. So, so we have to look at what's going on here and how do we, defeat the enemy. And most of the time it's going to be through unity. So we have to realize that if we're trying to be an island, be our own self, it's going to be hard to defeat the enemy like that. No army has one man that go to war like that. And no army has everybody that go to war. There was one example in the scripture where he wanted to know, let me know them that lap like a dog, and let me know them that get their hand and get the water. Those that lap like a dog, give me them. I want them. I know they're going to go out there and do it. Take all the rest of them jokers the other way. And this we have to look at. So it ain't about gathering everybody. We have to look at sometimes Hasatan, Satan, whatever you want to call him, the enemy, the wicked one, the devil. He sent people into your life. And we have to realize when these people come to your life, what's their job? What did they come to do? And the way you do that, we're going to get to that a little later, is through discernment. And that's what we lack most of the time. We lack discernment. When you discern the enemy, that's when you begin to find out what are the wiles and tactics of him through individuals. The enemy doesn't just come. When you think Satan, you can't just think devil, like kind of like how he took Yahushua Mashiach, into the wilderness. You can't think that level all the time. You got to look at vessels. You got to look at what's the order of this system that we're in. Like what is the ingredients of how we operate? Like what are the rules to being on the earth, being in the flesh, you being locked down? That's why when we're in this flesh, we have to realize this is just a house. Well, the enemy need a house to work through too. That's why I say he sent people. And when he sent people, he operates through those vessels. What I'm trying to find is illegal. What's legal and what's illegal and what's legal? It's illegal for the enemy to do certain things without people. And so we have to get you to actually agree to things, or get people to agree to do things to carry out his missions. When they're carrying out his mission, you got to find out, is this person sent by Yah, or is this person sent by the enemy? And the way you find that out is through discernment. Most of the time you listen at a person for a good little while, you'll begin to hear what their motives are. It'll come out what they're really trying to do. If you just listen to them for a while, they'll let you know what they're trying to do. Like if somebody show up out of the blue, you ain't seen them in a long time. And if it's the opposite gender, and you're married, most of the time the enemy sent that person if you had some type of soul tie attached to them. I'm just saying, if you hadn't renounced it, denounced it, and said, hey, it's in the spirit realm, There are certain things the enemy do to try to throw you off track. And I don't want to just do a lot of rambling, but I'm just saying we have to look at what's legal and what's illegal in this realm that we're in. So when the enemy begins to bring people, he brings people to either distract you from a mission that y'all got you on, or to try to send what we call a false help. And in that false help, you think, okay, they're trying to help me. But most of the time, they're trying to deter you from a task that the Most High got you on. So when the enemy bring these people, you have to say, okay, is this person come to help me or to hurt me? They pop up out the blue. Some lost cousin you ain't seen in a long time. Well, okay, he's been put out the house. Well, once he sit down for a little while, you'll find out he's been put out, he need a place to stay, or he want to borrow some money. You know, you have to just figure out what he come for today. What's his mission? Like, what is he showing up today to do? You have to kind of look at this. I mean, you have to look, now it's time to take life even more serious than ever, because everything that's going on around us with the jab and all this stuff going on, that's shutting stuff down, you have to discern the times right now. You have to be like Issachar for real. You have to discern these times and figure out what kind of time are we in right now. We're in a time now where if you don't draw nigh to the Most High, it's over. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's like people are thinking that it's just like, it's not enough just to know Jesus like they taught you in church. That's not enough. And in this side, it's not enough just to know Yahushua. That's not enough just to say I know him, or just to say I've been saved. What you have to do is learn how to use these tools and stuff that the Most High give you to be able to figure out how to maneuver. And the way you maneuver now, you have to maneuver through strategy. You can't maneuver through making one move at a time. That's the checkers example. You got to figure out how to make these moves in advance. So you got to be to make 10 or 15 moves before you make the next move. And by the time you get to that move, then, man, I ain't see that coming. And a lot of times what confuses him is the more you draw into Yah, like I say, through the prayer, through the fasting, through the praise, this is just a lot of stuff I'm just giving a rundown on, the more you put yourself in position to deal with these tactics and these tricks that's gonna come, because the pressure is on. The thing is, our eyes have been open, and we know most of the people are going through battles. It's going through physical battle, or going through some type of spiritual battle, or financial battle, and the pressure is on. There's only one way to release the pressure, and that's going to be the key thing: push back that plate. You got to destroy this flesh. The flesh has to be deprived of most activity they want to do in order to be able to advance, because it's not a normal thing going on. We're getting closer and closer to the time. I know I sound like I'm rambling, but this is what it is. It's like a trumpet is going off inside me. We're getting closer and closer into the time. And as we get closer, the days that draw near are more evil. They're getting to be evil even the more. It's getting to be dark days. And the only way that you can walk in a dark day is with the light. And you have to have the light. Most of the time, the light is being dimmed through things that are coming through the enemy, certain tactics. So we have to look at how to avoid these schemes that the enemy are bringing. I gave a few examples, like, and if your husband, wife, anything going on, you get mad, don't walk out. Stay in there, go to another place, whatever. Just make sure that you're able to just, come back together at some point, but do not allow the enemy to get you all alone. That's the thing. And that's what, and the same thing up inside of the kingdom of Yah, we can't allow the enemy to get rid of all the people in our life that we know that can even say something about Yah. Like, that when we do that, like, it's like you get put on an island and the enemy brings some cult leader to you as your savior. And now you're enjoying something, you don't know what you done got involved in. So we have to make sure that we have our checks and balances set up and that we know how to operate without crossing over into some other side, allowing the enemy to trick us and to get us in a position where we can let our guards down and begin to go into some self-pity and begin to cry. And the Most High don't want to care about no tears. What he's moved by is you drawing nigh unto him. He's moved by obedience, not tears. He see your tears and there's grace for it, but you get destroyed out here if you don't watch out and be aware and have your guards up for real for the enemy and the trick that he's coming with. I hate to keep going with all that, y'all, but anyway, so like I said, let's keep going here, baby. Let's look at Genesis chapter 3. Oh, okay, yeah. Right. I don't know how that works. Yeah. Let's look at Genesis chapter 3. And I'm gonna touch on a few things. I'm not gonna go into anything in detail. I'm just trying to look at a few examples so we can keep the path of what the enemy is doing.
Did you want to read the rest of Ephesians?
Not yet. Not yet. We're gonna go through Ephesians 6 all the way down to 18. Yeah, let's look at Genesis 3. And remember, we focusing on what the enemy is doing. This isn't so much as about Eve, because I know a lot of times this turns into a different, we already get the concept of what happened in the beginning. We'll focus on what the enemy tried to do. It's going to be Genesis chapter 3, starting off at the, I'm gonna do 3, starting off at the first. Oh yeah, okay. I didn't know you had to. Go ahead.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahuwah Elohim had made.
Pause. And I know it's a lot of pause, but I gotta explain this. Is the serpent was more what? Subtle. If I'm saying that word right, he was tricky. You know what I mean? Like that. And that's why I just went to chess. Now the serpent played chess. You get it? Not checkers. So we look at this word and we say the serpent was more subtle. The serpent played chess, not checkers. That's what I'm trying to get you to realize. So when it's saying that, it's showing you that he's clever. He ain't just walking around here like he fell off the back of some fruit truck. He's already ready and geared up to get you. He already know what you like. He know what you want to do. He know what you will be tempted with. And so this is why he's coming like this. He's coming with this subtlety so that he can get you in, and I call it trick you out of your position. With subtlety, basically. Go ahead.
And he said unto the woman, yea, has Elohim said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Pause. Now, and I'm saying, they say he said unto the woman. This isn't bashing women like most people want to try to get. This is just saying the truth. He came into the weaker vessel, and he did that to backdoor Adam because he knew that once Adam had got him a mate and found something that was compatible unto him, that he knew Adam would yield to it. And so it said, now I'm not going to get into this scripture yet, but later we'll go into the scripture. What man can spoil the man's good unless he first come into the house and bind the strong man? So the way he bind Adam was what? Through Eve. And this is the reason why we have to get it all right. It's not about like a lot of people want to come off saying different stuff. We have to look at the whole order. Yah, Yahushua Mashiach, man, woman, children. We have to look at it like that because everybody has a head except for Yah. This didn't give men the right to just do what they want to do. That means they have to be subject unto Yahushua. Now, this is the thing, and this is the order that we're talking about. And the order, when you look at it like the order said, you're just telling the truth. I can't help there's a feminist movement going on. All this stuff that's happening, we ain't even getting into that. We're getting into the real deal and what the enemy came to do. And what he came to do was to backdoor Adam, trick him out of position so he can figure out, how can I get to this joke? He said, I'm going to get to him and what he really likes because he ain't worried about the Most High no more. He didn't just kind of start doing his own thing. And so we have to look at, let's tell him what the enemy saw going on prior to walking up. He probably saw him looking at that tree a few times or anything. So he keep glancing over that way. I'm seeking out, I can't get him. Okay, let me see, can I get her? She by herself, caught her by herself. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, caught her by herself. And when he caught her by herself, he approached her. Where was Adam? You see what I'm saying? Caught her by herself. This is just an example. Don't let the enemy get you all alone, especially if you're angry or something is wrong. If you are, you need to start praying and start rebuking stuff, start going into whatever you need to do to get yourself situated, figure out how can you center yourself again. And the way you do that is through prayer and fasting, through reaching out. You got to figure out. And see, the problem is now with the time that we're in, we have a lot of lonely situations going on with a lot of, I would say, a single, just in general, people that single themselves out to the point they don't have nobody to get, nobody to call on. There's no accountability or nothing. Just straight up, the enemy's attacking them. Certain people being destroyed, got nobody to help them because after all, like I say, church hurt. That was one tactic. So you got hurt at this church. So you say, okay, well now all religion is just anything got something to do with Yah. They talking about is evil now. Now they done went over into the cosmos, the universe, and all this kind of foolishness and stuff, which is another tactic of the enemy. So once you figure out a few people did you wrong, people now did you wrong in a building that ain't even the church. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Just we are the body of Yahushua Mashiach, but since this building of people, or this assembly of people did you wrong, or one minister there, now you're looking at, okay, now all these people are evil, so I'm gonna get to myself. This is what the enemy wants, because you're on the water. You're on the battlefield. And like I say, with soldiers at war, so what soldier went off to himself? Like, show me any army where they sent one soldier to go over there in Iraq by himself. That's the thing. And what happened to that soldier in Iraq by himself with all these bombs, all these people there? He'll get killed quick because he's a target. Sitting duck is what he is. The enemy wants you sitting duck. He wants you sitting there, and it's like all his little imps and stuff can shoot at you and get you now because you by yourself. We have to realize that it can't be done by ourselves. That's the thing. It's a hard battle to do this by yourself. You will find yourself in all kind of turmoil and all kind of confusion. This is the thing we have to realize. Now, I know it's like a lot of stuff has been destroyed. There are a lot of people that are scattered out. But the problem is, the words say, the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. There's a grace to people. But once y'all start forming the army and start getting the army together, It's your choice to get on the battlefield or still stay over there and get shot at and have nobody on the front line helping. And that's the problem. He got her by herself. Go ahead.
2. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die.
Pause. He said, you should not surely die. Here it go again. The enemy telling you partial truth. You know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to mix up stuff. Like, well, ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, that ain't really like that. Like, you ain't really got to be set apart for real. I mean, like there's like he tried to show you the other side of stuff all the time. And when you look at the other side of it, the Most High said, don't do it. And I'm not trying to get into, I'm not trying to keep stopping, but this has been in my route for a couple of days. This is what we have to look at right here. We have to look at the whole idea, the whole matter thing, consider the whole thing. This is the thing, like I said, what man build a house without first counting up the cost? So you got to realize before you make this choice, what comes with this? And that's what we don't do. We don't strategize. We make the choice quick. Well, the enemy has used a strategy. Most of the enemy's strategy he's been using been years and years and years of things that he's studied. Hence where familiar spirits come in at. He got these familiar spirits, hence the false prophet. We say, well, what's this false prophet? False prophets got 1 or 2 ways to operate. One way a false prophet operate, find out a lot of information about you. I mean, heard all these stories. They send people in the background, figure out all they can about you, and they come up and they start say, hey, you come in, let's say common names like, hey, there's a car. A car? Come on, man. Like that, I mean, who don't know a car? I mean, like that, oh, there's a John. I'm hearing a John, like, John, please. Say a hard name. I mean, like Gerakio or something. You're just making up a crazy name we never heard of. You're going to say John and Paul, scripture name, call or something like that's what I'm just saying, but this is the thing. And they'll start using these tactics against you and stuff. So, okay, now these are the things they use to get you. Now, on the other side, those that are not just straight playing tricks and schemes are dealing with familiar spirits. And they're dealing with familiar spirits. And we think we didn't heard them say, oh, grandmama gave you this. And no, grandmama gave you nothing. This is a familiar spirit. And the whole reason these familiar spirits are around, they'll whip you, knowing not in you, but they're familiar spirits. You can't stop a spirit from peeping. This is the thing. And I hate to really get into this, but we got to do it raw. I mean, without, being perverted or anything. So it's like spirits' whole idea is to figure out, how you operate. I'm not going to get into any depths of it, but I'm just going to say familiar. They're familiar with you. How they get familiar, well, you'll figure it out. But I'm just saying they're familiar with you. That's the spirit that's telling them about you. That familiar spirit. That's what's going on. So you think just because you heard some truth, that this is truth from the righteous side. This is truth from the dark side. This is the thing. So we don't realize that there's a whole universe out here. There's a whole spirit realm out here. And in the spirit realm, to operate in the spirit realm righteously, it has to be done through the Ruach HaKodesh. So just because someone's telling you some truth, don't flock to them and say, okay, now this person must be sent of Yah. You heard truth, but it's just for you. It's say, try the spirit by the spirit and see whether this spirit be of Yah. It's a spirit. Of course, it's going to tell you things of the unknown and things of, that's why we have to be, you got to be wise and realize just because you start hearing somebody tell you something that happened or somebody telling you something that happened, that don't mean that's an in-season word for you. This is the problem. The first sign of a false prophet is what I'm getting at is they start telling you stuff and don't give you the time to see whether or not you want to receive this or not. It's like, if I'm really true and I'm sent by Yah, it's not my problem whether you receive it or not. I don't get mad. You know what I'm saying? The first sign is when they get mad. First of all, that person now is operating in the flesh. And they're operating, when I say the flesh, is because the works of the flesh is witchcraft. And that's a fleshly work. It's just telling you the truth and it's operating in the supernatural. And saying it doesn't mean that it's of Yah. It's not of the light. We'll get into how marvelous, how Satan keeps transforming into an angel of light and his ministers into ministers of righteousness. You know what I'm saying? They're transforming and they're getting truth. So since we hear the truth, we think it is like truthful. You know what I'm saying? Like that we think it's righteous for us. It don't mean that it's righteous just because we're hearing them say something that is so. And that's what we have to realize. That's the false prophet. And the false prophet won't respect the fact that the Ruach HaKodesh has came in and abides inside of you and leads and guides you to say, this isn't for me that you're saying. I see what you're saying, but something has changed. There are times and seasons. They can speak out of season because after all, they're operating in the flesh. This is the thing. So we have to look at this for what it's worth. Go ahead, baby. I stopped you somewhere in the middle of that.
Ray read 6.
Oh, so we do?
No, I said sure. Hold on, I'm sorry. I did 4.
Okay.
So it's 5. For Elohim knows that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as Elohim, knowing good and evil.
All right, pause it there. And so that's the thing. So that's the case right there. See, the problem with that situation is, Hasatan came, caught her by herself, and allowed her to go against some rules that was already laid out. So it just wanted to show you how he comes. How he comes to be subtle, how the enemy comes to be subtle, basically he comes to ensnare you and to trick you. So let's pick back up. Let's look at 1 Peter chapter 5. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 and 9, 1643. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
1 Peter chapter 5. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 and 9. I think. Yeah, 1 Peter.
You say verse 8?
Yeah, verse 8 and 9. Yeah, no, starting at the yeah, that's it.
All right. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walks about seeking whom he may devour, whom resist steadfast in the belief, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world.
And that's the thing. When you open your eyes to the scripture, say walks about seeking whom he may devour. He's not doing anything. He's walking around seeking whom he may devour. That's the thing. So who got all alone where he can get to him? You know what I'm saying? Who done put themselves in a position where their guards are down, where the enemy can come in? And don't think this monster that they show you on TV and stuff all the time. We can't think like that. He's walking around seeking whom he may devour through these vessels that they're sending, and other times, whatever you may be entertained, there's a lot of stuff goes on that open you up, things you entertain, things that you're doing, objects that you may have, certain things that you got since we the people. Okay, now we want everything from Africa. Some of that stuff has got curses on it. Some of those oracles and certain, what we call these, some kind of shells they be wearing, cavalry shells they be putting on their neck, all this stuff here, it's got a curse and stuff on it. It's supposed to protect you and all this stuff. When we look and say, oh, I like this takes me back. We weren't from no Africa. That's the thing. And so since we came through there from Jerusalem, it's like now we want to identify with everything being black. Excuse me. We want to identify with everything being to identify back to our origin, and we thought I was our origin. And it's not that. So we see something with some bones on it or something like that, we want to put it on. Bracelet that got all this kind of stuff on there, and it's got you balanced. Bracelet with these little elephant what you call it, little teeth and all this stuff here and all this stuff on it. So we didn't, I like that, that's pretty. I got this hanging up, I got this statue of some kind of Timbuktu guy, something like that, and then he was a false guy, whoever he is, King Tut, we got him there. All this stuff is false idols. And we got this stuff in our house, and we thinking, okay, why ain't the Most High moving? It's restricting the movement. We know we have grace. We got to get out of this idea of Jesus going to make everything okay. We can't do that. We have a responsibility. We got to get out. And I say that because that's what they're telling you from the root of people that's been brought up through the Christian church. And on this side, we look at now that we're the people, everything is fine. We can do anything. Now, you can't do anything. You have to get the accursed thing out of your home. You have to get the accursed person out of your life. Anything that's going on that's causing you to draw yourself away from God has to go. And that's when he begins to come in, because it's restricting. He said, I'm a jealous Yah. There should be no other Yah before me. You put these false statues, these elephants, Buddha and all this stuff, people do it just because it looks good as a statue of Buddha, probably in somebody's house just because they got it there. Or a picture or something you got hanging up. When you do that, you're saying this is like an altar at this point. That's why you have to be careful, even who house you go in. People's house that you go in, you don't just stop being a free spirit. Stop this stuff, this free spirit type stuff that they're teaching. It's a movement teaching you to just have a free spirit and just roam around. You can't do that. You have to have guidelines. You have to have certain checks and balances in order. Certain places you don't go. You don't enter in. It's like certain one, you say that if you get there and you see something going, look around. Look around. You see all kind of stuff hanging up around in the ceiling. I'm just giving you examples. You don't want to get into it. If you see jaws hanging up, all kind of funny stuff. You see dust around, questioning, hey, what's that? What is that? I mean, just ask them. They say, oh, there's some dust. Y'all put, okay, all right, I'll see you later. We out of here. That's it. I mean, don't even call me back when you get rid of this because we out of here. Period. That's it. And we have to realize it's not going to be boring asking or anything like most times it's going to be something they shouldn't have. And so we have to realize, okay, look, and that's what I'm just giving you an example. Like, just question people. You go in there, you see something hanging on. Hey, what's that? Well, that's a picture of such and such. He was the Roman, the Greek this or the Greek god. Okay, look, we gone. That's it. I mean, because it ain't about running, but it's like if you see a moment to minister that person, fine. But we have to realize we're not sent to save the world. And that's what people mess up at. Christian churches taught you to anybody you run up into, witness to them, tell them about the goodness of Jesus and God. That's not how the Most High operate. Most of them people, Yeshua said, go thy way and tell nobody unless a great thing happened unto you, go repent. He said he would go into the wilderness. He would go certain. He wouldn't just roam around. He healed those that came. The people had to find him most of the time. They had to find him most of the time. It wasn't no situation. That's why they said, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, I'll be made whole. That's it. So it was a press most of the time. He wasn't just out roaming around as a free spirit. He had a job to do. That was a task he was working on. That task was that he came to destroy the works of the enemy. All those that came to him, it wasn't just about healing people. It wasn't just about being happy and emotional and stuff like that. He had things that he was doing, like the Most High, I have a task for you to do. He'll have a job for you to work on and something for you to do. And you're too busy running around trying to be the savior of the world. He didn't call you for that. He called you for a job. And you have to realize, even me, if the Most High put me in a different position where I'm starting to minister or pastor to people, I know he ain't sending me everybody. You can't take on everybody. You can't connect with everybody. That's one thing. Stop trying to connect with everybody. Find out if the Most High saying, don't connect with this person. Don't mean the person evil. He just don't want you to connect with him, and that's okay. And that's what people don't realize. They feel like just because you're saying you're of Yah or you of God, that gives them a direct access into your life. It don't. It don't give you access into my life just because I'm saying I'm of Yah. My task is to find out who he told me. He said, I chose 12 of you, and one of you is a devil. That's what he said. So he didn't go chosen in the one that was with him, the 70-something, they fell off because they couldn't deal with it. It was too much for them. And that's the problem. Even what I'm saying now, 99% of people that saying they're Hebrew Israelite won't want to hear me because I'm not being put back in bondage. I'm not going to let them put me back in bondage with their legalistic ways. I'm not going to do it. I'm at liberty with Yahushua Mashiach to find that perfect balance. I'm going to keep the dietary law. I'm going to observe the feast days and memorialize them. I'm going to do the things I'm supposed to do. I'm going to keep the Shabbat in the day in which the Most High showed me, in which I keep it because he's Lord of the Shabbat. I'm going to do it based on how he said do. I'm not going to let them put me in a box. So no, they won't want to hear me. I'm not called to all of them. That's the thing. I got to look at who it is that the Most High has given an ear, it's given that their ear has been given unto me. That's who I'm looking for. Not people that just jumped off the bandwagon, got out some cult and want to still follow these cultic ways. I'm not focused on that. That's the thing. So you all have to look at it too. Just because somebody show up out of the blue, that don't mean that's your opportunity to witness to them every time. That's what you have to look at. There's no scripture that talks about taking on everybody. Show me an example. They didn't take on everybody. What they did was people that came up, certain ones they healed, certain ones they didn't heal. If everybody got healed, Paul would have got healed of the thorn he had in the flesh. He didn't get healed. He said, the third time I have approached you and you have not removed it. Your grace is sufficient to me. So he didn't get it removed and he was still healing. Was he evil? No, he wasn't. It just wasn't the will of Yah. And that's what people don't want to understand. It's witchcraft. When people are trying to put you in a box and trying to make you their king or make you some savior of them and Yah didn't call you to connect with them. That's when it turns into sorcery. Because now you're over-trumping the rules of the legal realm that I'm in, of whoever else is in. You have to look at who have you been called to. Another example, Timothy. He said, drink no longer water, but drink a little wine for thy sometime infirmity. Why didn't he heal him? There's another one. I can't really think of his name. I'm going to say Miletus or something like that. Have I left sick? He left somebody back sick. It wasn't time for this guy to be healed. Paul, why did he heal him? Why didn't he heal this guy? We'll look at the example later, but that's a guy Paul left back sick, and he didn't heal him. We know Timothy had an infirmity. He didn't heal him. It wasn't the will of Yah. That's the thing. It ain't just to say, be quick to lay hands on no man, and don't let no man lay hands on you quick. And this is what we have to look at right here. We have to look at Stop this stuff where we just run around like a free spirit and just no boundary lines. Okay, everybody just happy, saved, all about Jesus, blah, blah, blah. We can't work like that. We got to operate under some order or some system, because that's what the enemy is doing. He has a strategy, and that strategy is to kill you in the end. It's to put you in that lake of fire and brimstone. That's skipping all the other stuff. We know leading unto that strategy is to make you fall to whatever temptation that you've been used to falling to. He's been following you in whatever familiar spirit to tempt you throughout that long time of your life. He got it. Okay, well, he like this. Now he done got mad. So I'm going to bring this to him now and see if he's going to fall to this. I'm going to bring this person back in his life that's going to get him involved in something that I told him to not do no more. So all of a sudden he bumps into a person that he remembers from back in the day. They'd have bought up something that you don't even supposed to be fooling with. But ain't no sin, but he told you don't fool with it. That's the thing. So we have to look at what's our job and strategy, is not to just accept everybody. That's why I say some people, we're dealing with the wiles of the enemy. Some people, the enemy sin, and their tactics and their motives are not pure. They think they're pure, but you have to learn how to say no. The power of no, that's one of my, I always used to say that no is a powerful word. It's 2 letters, N-O, that's it. No, that's it, no, and man, why, no. I don't have to explain to you why I have my own reason. I don't owe you an explanation. No, because you're not going to receive it anyway if I'm saying no. If that explanation doesn't turn me back into saying, you saying why is just another hook, line, and sinker to get you to change your mind. That's all. Why? We ain't gonna give you the money. Or why y'all ain't gonna lend me the money? Your credit, this, that. Then it's still no. Like, what did it help? I mean like that. It's no, you knew prior to going into a bank, they weren't gonna give it to you. I mean, you just went in there on some superstitious, bogus, fake movement, didn't do the other stuff that, you have to do. Faith without works is dead. Figuring, okay, now the Most High is going to make the bank just give me all the message case, all of us will be rich. I mean, like that. So we have to be realistic to some degree. So the answer is no. Certain people that come into your life, it's nothing personal. It's nothing wrong with picking up the phone. They call, hey, look, man, no offense, but me and you're not going to be able to be, in communication anymore, because this is what my king, the Most High, is telling me to do. Nothing personal now. Man, blah, 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 blah. Let them blow it off for about 1 or 2 minutes. Hey, man, have a peaceful day. Erase, delete, whatever it is, block, boom, it's over. And that's what we have to do. Don't be afraid to hurt people's feelings if it's going to save your life. That's the thing. That's what we have to look at. Just tell them no. When the time comes, there's a cutoff point to some people. When the cutoff point, no. Bottom line. I usually don't even worry about it. I just don't even deal. And if I do find them, it's been times my wife has seen me tell somebody, look, I ain't going to do it. I ain't gonna bring no name to try to give me the number. No, I'm fine. I'm okay. I don't want it. She's seen this in action before, like that, real life. Somebody we really know said, no, I don't want your number. I'm okay. And they walked off. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Nothing personal, But I'm just saying I've done it before. You have to do that because it was a spiritual situation at stake, operating in something they shouldn't be operating in. And I knew this. Getting these spiritual attacks and certain things going on. So the Most High say, cut them off. Cut them off right then. Cut them off. Just like back then when they cut the enemy's water supply off, it was over. You getting ready to get out of here because you don't have a water supply. Cut you off. That's it. And that's where it's not an evil thing. It's a righteous thing because this person is causing your soul to be at jeopardy. And that's the thing. So we have to realize that's just one tactic of the enemy, And then, like I say, getting you all alone, getting you in position where you're not praying, you're not fasting, you're not actually seeking him because other distractions are stopping you. We just have to learn how to balance it out. Make sure there's some time for the Most High. That's it. Make sure that you dedicate some time to him in your mind, mentally, through the word or something every day. A day shouldn't go past where we're doing something concerning the Most High and figure out what's the mission, what's the task, what am I called here to do in the Ruach HaKodesh? How am I supposed to be able to help people, stop them from going to the fire of hell at the end of the day? It's basically what it all boils down to, because everything that we see going on, another tactic of the enemy, is this the internet and everything that's going on and the TV and stuff, and they're bringing all these propagandas out here, showing you stuff that look good, but it's evil. And that's another tactic of him, you know what I'm saying? Showing you stuff, trying to call evil good and good evil. We see the TV is showing everything, and it's like it's making everything okay to do now. It's right. Everything is about sex. Everything is about, doing something perverted, something like that. And it's not supposed to be. You can't turn a commercial on without something that you really don't want your kids seeing coming on TV. That's what they're doing. And so we have to watch, okay, what are we going to do to, it's just a lot. With all this stuff going on, bombarding, you have to realize, okay, am I just supposed to be out here and don't do nothing? Am I supposed to be by myself? No, you're supposed to be with somebody that you can allow to be able to help you fight this enemy. And that's the thing. And we think we can do it by ourselves. That's our first failure right there. The enemy has won to some degree. You can still make it, but it's going to be hard and it's easier. That's why I said when Apollos came, they began to show him a more excellent way. They began to show it was Priscilla and Aquila that showed a more excellent way. They began to show him a more excellent way and expounded in the way of Yahuwah, because he only knew John's baptism. They had to show him how to operate now in the Ruach HaKodesh through Yahushua Mashiach. It's a difference now. And this is what we got to look at. We can't operate with old tactics trying to fight a new enemy. That's the thing. So it's like my old saying, new levels, they're new devils, and they're coming. So once you pass one level, then now you got to deal with a new one. It's like it's always something evolving to come more, because it's better than you. It's putting you in position to help somebody. We still on a baby level. We still eat milk. We can't help nobody that's being attacked by demons that's used to people that's eating meat. This is the thing. So it's like we also got to realize what grace level do we have. We're not supposed to enter trying to cast out stuff and all this stuff. You're going to find yourself like the 7 sons of Sceva, because they got to know you. They said, Yahushua Mashiach, we know. Paul, we know, but who are ye? Who are you? We don't know who you are. Hell should know who you are. The enemy should know who you are. The gates of hell should know who you are. That's why Yahushua Mashiach went there saying, I took this. I had to take the keys. I had to take the victory so that now I have all power has been given unto me. But you're not going to just get all power through psyching yourself out like they taught you in church. There's not no psych out. Faith is not being psyched out. Faith comes with works. Faith comes with position yourself. You have to deny yourself something to gain something. Same thing in the evil world. People that you see that made it, that these stars have to deny themselves of some type of pride. Certain things they have to be molested. I'm just giving you, without going too far, to get certain things. Same thing on the vice versa side. You have to deny yourself something fleshly to get something in the Ruach. That's it. That's what it is. It's always a sacrifice on either end, whether it's a good one or a bad one. And that we have to realize. We have to look at the idea of not allowing yourself to be tricked out your position. Don't think you can do this by yourself and successfully fight this enemy, because you can't. You will find yourself constantly being pushed down, and constantly just driven to the ground. Yeah, graces keep rising up, but you'll have what I call a strained life. That's why I say lay aside every weight and sin that just so easily beset you, that you may run this race. You can't run the race with all this weight and all this heaviness that's going on. That's why David said, I don't need that. I don't want the armor that you're trying to give me. So I got these 5 smooth stones and this slingshot, and I'm finna knock them out. That's what I need. I don't need that you're giving me. I got my own tactic that the Ruach showed me how to use against this enemy. And that's what we have to look at, Y'all fired up. It's been on me right here for a minute. You can keep going. Well, okay, let's look at Zechariah chapter 3. It's 10:14. Zechariah. We're going to go to Zechariah chapter 3, 1 and 2. Yeah, it's been on me about this here, just making sure we're ready to defeat this enemy, because he's coming. And the more stuff they create, the more stuff they bring out, we can get away from this stuff.
Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1 and 2.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1 and 2.
I ain't got so caught up. I got to get to the verse 10:14. All right. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1. And he showed me Yahushua, the high priest, standing before the angel of Yahuwah, and Satan standing at his right hand to accuse him. And Yahuwah said unto Hasatan, Yahuwah rebuke you, O Hasatan. Even Yahuwah that has chosen Yerushalaim rebuke you. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? So
that's what I'm saying. So the goal I'm trying to show you is that it said we're looking at this particular situation, say Yahushua, the high priest. Look who's standing at his right side. Hasatan, Satan standing at his right side, getting ready to accuse him. That's what he's trying to do 24/7. Look at what he just did. Look at what he just did. Look where he's just a tattletale. Just a tattletale, just constantly trying to say something that you did off. Same thing going on, and he just simply rebuked him. He didn't go into no temper change, didn't go into tongue or nothing, just rebuked him. Yahuwah rebuked you, just the power of those words got him off of him. That's why I said Michael. When Michael began to when Satan began to contend with him about the bones of Moses, says he didn't bring a relevant accusation against him. He simply said, the Most High rebuke you. You rebuke, and you get out the way quick, because you ain't finna do this. You go. Some stuff you don't even have to wrestle with. Some stuff is simple, and it's because you're in right standard. But where the wrestling comes in at is when you need help is you fail from grace. You fail from grace. You're not in position to rebuke that because you need to be rebuked. And it's the problem. So now you can't get a breakthrough because you're thinking, okay, I got it all together. And you've been tricked into, like I say, Christianity, Hebrewitism, or Hebrewism, whatever you want to call it. You've been tricked into that. And you're not realizing you the people of the book. Move forward, know that, know the bloodline, move forward into these things of the Ruach HaKodesh. And don't get caught up thinking now that you got a safe line. In Christian church, Jesus didn't give them a safe line. And in the Hebrew Israelite side, there was no safe line, find out you the people. That's it. It just gave you a greater responsibility to look back in case say, now, what am I supposed to be doing? What dispensation am I in right now? Am I supposed to be listening to Moses? Supposed to be listening to what Yahushua Mashiach said and which is still the old covenant? Am I supposed to be listening to what the apostles said? What's going on? Well, that's a perfect blend. It just don't contradict one another. That's the thing. We don't have to reach and to figure out all we can do and say, okay, I can do all this, and all that. You didn't give you all that. Certain stuff, there's a balanced diet. You can't just, you give a child just a choice to just eat candy at a certain age, they'll have all candy on the plate and snacks. They won't put no green vegetables or nothing that's going to be nutritious. They're not going to put anything like carrots or anything like, spinach, anything like that, because they don't want that stuff. It's nasty to them. But when it goes inside, it's going to do the body good. The other stuff is going to destroy the body. It just tastes good. And that's the thing, heaping to themselves teachers having itching ears. They don't want to hear the truth. They just want somebody to stop trying to get a word from people looking for some prophet and all this stuff to try to tell you something all the time. You're looking for them 24/7. You begin to find people you heaping unto yourself, and these people going to tell you what you want to hear. Stop letting people prophesy. This is just for anybody that may hear this. Who is your husband and wife? And all this kind of crazy stuff like that. You got to realize you need to know who your husband and wife is. You don't let nobody tell you something. Then you get in that position. You say, I do, and they don't have to deal with it. It's the thing. So we have to look at what's going on as a whole. We have to figure out, okay, what choices? These are telltale things. Stop letting people direct your day, and what you're supposed to be doing throughout that whole day and week, that line at your life, and they don't have to deal with the enemy that you're going to deal with crossing this pathway. Make sure that whatever position that you're in a position that you can deal with. There are grace levels for certain devils. You enter into another level that you don't have grace for, you will get whooped. And that's it. It's not a magic trick. It's not nothing where, like I say, you don't just, Yahushua Mashiach doesn't just shield you from stupidity. You have to deal with it. He that does this out of ignorance would be whooped with few stripes still. So it's like you have to look at it and say, okay, am I supposed to be in some stuff you're not supposed to enter into? You're not supposed to let people bring you into something you ain't supposed to be bought into. Come on, let's what? I need to pray and say, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. That's no let's. But that doesn't take away from the responsibility of unity. It's just there's a certain balance that we have to find. And the let's is come from somebody that's not connected with you at all. It's just somebody that we were saying come out of the blue, and all of a sudden, every now and then they come around. It's always what the Lord has told them in a dream and a vision. Watch out for that, because if you don't watch it, what'll happen, this person start directing your life, and you'll be not even hearing from Yah. You won't hear anything. You have to learn how to hear from Yah and how to receive stuff that's supposed to be received. And don't worry about nobody's faith. Don't be dismayed at their faces, because if somebody's from Yah, they never contend and argue with nobody. When Samuel came to tell Saul he was wrong, he told him. When Nathan the prophet came to tell David he was wrong, he said, you are that man. And for this cause, he gave him everything he needed to know. He didn't care if David received it or not. That's what you call, if a person's not confident in who they are, that's one telltale sign, because most of the time, these false prophets are very emotional. They're very touchy-feely. They get offended real quick because you don't want to receive what thus says the Lord, what they're telling you that, oh man, get out of here with that food. Miss me with that. Because if the Most High is telling you to tell me something, he's going to confirm it in me, and I'm going to have a choice to be obedient or disobedient. He don't do one thing. He do things. That's why when you hear certain ones say, if you hear this thing 2 and 3 times, this thing keep coming, this thing has been confirmed. He'll confirm it through the television. Somebody you may not even know come up and tell you something, and he'll confirm the thing. So if you're sure of yourself, there's no need for no food. That's the reason why we have to be aware and be aware of false prophets. That's one telltale sign. Anybody that's been deceived by a familiar spirit to be a false prophet is operating in witchcraft. And the way you operate in that witchcraft is getting offended if the person doesn't let you control their life. Right. That's witchcraft. That's the first telltale sign. Run away from it. Because if it's the Most High, it's going to be in unity, and the person won't be mad. there may be a burden on this person that you're not listening to what they're saying, but this person has to have enough maturity to realize that you have the Ruach HaKodesh. If you have it, and the Most High will show you what's needed to happen. He's not a Yah of disorder. He don't deal with disorder. He deals with order, because in the end, he's not going to send you to hell just because you didn't do this one thing this person said. He's going to give you a chance to be disobedient. Like we looked at Balaam and Balak, he kept going, and he had to send this donkey. Say, look, hey, you're going to get your head cut off if you don't stop. He didn't just let him, so we have to look at what this is worth here. I think we're looking at, who I went so far? Let's see, you keep going. Thank you, we'll go to Ephesians. I don't even know if we got past 12. Yeah, so 17, 11, yeah. We pick back up where you left. I think you'll start back on 12.
Okay, so Ephesians chapter 6.
Going back to Ephesians 6, starting at the 12th verse.
All right. 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Okay, so say we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And so, and I'm not even going to turn this, in Galatians it talks about this, though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare is not carnal, but mighty through Yah. So we have to look at this right here and look at the idea that dealing with the flesh, dealing with flesh and blood, and dealing with principalities and powers. When we deal with principalities and powers, we're dealing with the demonic realm. We're dealing with, everything that's happening in the Ruach, that's happening in the air, that's trying to come against us. These are and then we're looking at the principalities and the powers who we know we need to fight against. That's where everybody has to come together. Well, most of the time you need to learn how to deal with whatever the Ruach has showed you. And I'm just going to announce it. You'll help your language of Shamayim, how you deal directly with Yah in the Ruach. You learn how to do that. And we're dealing with the spiritual wickedness in high places. We're dealing with the governments and all this kind of stuff here and what's going on around us. We're dealing with the high places, the elite, those that are doing all this wickedness, that's putting out all these laws and all this stuff that's coming to really condition us into, some form of submission unto them, getting us where we can be controlled by the tactics of them, making it like that's right now. What they're doing now is erasing righteousness, and they're putting, okay, this is what we're going to give you now. This is what we're showing you. There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with having this man go inside this lady's bathroom now and say, now he decided that today he wants to be a lady with a full beard and a suit and tie on. He in there. And they can't stop him because he done told him, hey, look, I'm a lady today with all the bass and voice and everything. This is what we're saying. This is what they're conditioning us to not have a standard. They're conditioning us to not have no certain lifestyle or no character of right living. When you start saying righteousness, they're putting us in position now to accept and be force-fed everything that they give us. It's a lot of this can be a part 2, 3, and 4 lessons. So we're not gonna get into all the details of it, but the whole thing is, you can't fight these in the realm. You can't fight legally in a realm that you're not living in. That's what I'm saying. If you're walking in the flesh, how are you gonna fight something coming against you in the Ruach? It's just not gonna happen. It's gonna be a battle, and that battle is gonna be won by them the majority of the time. And you'll have this little level of grace that's getting you when you just ain't just knocked out cold with a KO. And that's it. And so you don't want to be living like that. You want to be able to KO them. That's it. And so that's what we got going on. But you get knocked out and you say, okay, well, he ain't KO, but he is out. He kind of woozy. You don't want this happening 24/7. It's happening because you don't have the right tools. You sitting there with gloves on that's 50 pounds. You can't even swing them. He told you to put these 3-pound gloves on so you can swing. You try to put gloves that another person got on. That's the thing. Quit trying to walk into the anointing of somebody else and let the Most High grow you into the grace that he got you in. That's one trick, thinking that you're bigger than what you are, trying to take on something that's too big to take on. You can't do it. So we dealt with that right there. Let's keep moving. I don't want to stay on it too long. Let's go to the 13th verse.
Ephesians chapter 6, verse 13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand.
Okay, let's stop there. I know that stopped in the middle, but I want to deal with the evil day. So what is the evil day? And I'm just going to get this. The evil day, well, when we look at let's look at Matthew chapter 4. The evil day is when Hasatan began to tempt Yahushua Mashiach. That was the evil day there. This day was prepared from the beginning of time. This is something that he had to do, but he was getting ready to go into a whole nother level of things at this point. So we're going to look and see, because I don't want to add anything to it that's not, but the evil day is that day the enemy approaches you and tempts you very heavy. And he began to tempt you heavily. That's the evil day. It's not no one time. The evil day can come multiple times throughout the day if you're in a position for it to come. So that evil day is the day that you're tempted. So let's say Matthew 4. Let's see. Let's see what page is that. Okay. Go turn it to it right here. All right. Yeah. Matthew 4. We're dealing with Hasatan, after Yahushua Mashiach had come off his fast, lead him into the wilderness. Go ahead.
Then was Yahushua led up of the Ruach into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. Oh,
see what I'm saying? Now, at this point, it says he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights. He was afterward hungry. I'm just trying to tie this in, the evil day. Remember the scripture said when the disciples couldn't take out the devil, they couldn't get him out. He said he's a lunatic, keep casting himself oftentimes to the fire, to the water. He said, why can't we cast him out? He said, howbeit this kind comes forth only, but by fasting and prayer. One scripture say by much fasting and prayer. This kind, what he had just did, he had just fasted. Let's go ahead, go for it. You keep going.
3. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if you be the son of Elohim, command that these stones be made bread.
Oh, that's another thing. See, he's trying to use these strategies and these tricks. If you be, what are you talking about? If I be, I mean, that's the thing. Like you say, you supposed to be saved. Give me $5. I'm just giving you an example. I don't have to do anything that I'm not led to do. But this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to get him to show off. Now, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody. Go ahead.
4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahuwah. Then the devil took him up into the holy city and set him on the pinnacle of the temple and said unto him, if you be the son of Elohim, cast yourself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest at any time you dash your foot against the stone.
Go ahead.
Yahushua said unto him, it is written again, you shall not tempt Yahuwah Elohim.
See that? And so he said, I don't have to prove nothing to you. I'm not going to show off. We're not finna have a showdown. We're not finna do this right now. This is not what I'm called to do, have a showdown. I'm not finna have a battle of the book of the scriptures in this day and time with no other person that's saying they want to still be in bondage. If you want to still be in bondage, fine. You stay in bondage. If you want to see that want to be ignorant, let them be ignorant still. Figure out who you're called to. Find out who those people are that want to hear you, and that's where you find your grace with Yahweh, not with the person that's saying, well, show me that in the Bible. I would say we ain't got to do that, or we got to do it. I'm not finna do that. I'm sure of who I am. I found the mix right now. I know where I'm supposed to be at. So I don't need you telling me something that I need to prove to you now. Go ahead.
8. Again, the devil took him up into an exceeding high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in the glory of them, and said unto him, all these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So once again, he's telling me, I'll give you this if you'll worship me. Look, just take the jab, and we'll keep giving you the check. You get what I'm saying? That's the same thing. I mean, just go and take it. We'll keep giving you the check. And we're not getting into whether or not it's the mark of the beast and all this kind of stuff. Like I was telling another brother, that's irrelevant right now because greater things are going to happen. It's not over. So if you announce that, you're going to find yourself to be ignorant. Something bigger comes out. But the point is, this is something that you don't have to do. Do like Daniel did. When they begin to play the music and all the instrument began to be played, he did not bow down to the king. He said, I'm not going to do it, O king. I think it was King with Nebuchadnezzar, if I'm not mistaken. He said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bow down when this music begins to be played. The music is everything that they're saying you need to do to keep your livelihood that they're saying, because they're not your source. They're not the one that's supposed to be supplying you for what you need to do. They're not your source. They may be, I guess, the word would be a resource. They're not your source like that. So we don't have to actually get into a position to bow down to things that the world is saying do and feel like that's what we got to do to keep moving forward. The answer is no, we won't do it. Go ahead.
think you answered that.
10.
That'd be it, yeah.
Then said Yahushua unto him, get you hence, Hasatan, for it is written, you shall worship Yahuwah Eloheka, and him only shall you serve. Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
Okay, so we're not even going to turn that. We're going to just deal with the word and say, resist the enemy, he would flee. Draw nigh to Yah, he would draw nigh to you. Resist the enemy, he would flee. We know if you're in this particular situation, if the enemy is coming, all you got to do is just keep putting that word out. Keep standing, keep being obedient, and eventually he leaves. And then the angels come and minister. So this is what we're dealing with now. A lot of times people have been so spooked out with stuff, they don't even like dealing with the spirit realm that are angels and demons. It's like that. As long as you stay ignorant to that, the enemy, you'll always be a target. If you think you just happen to just pop up one day and just be walking around and nothing else goes on, you're saying Shamayim ain't even real. That's in the Ruach, that's in the spirit realm. So it's like, let's look at this for what it's worth, stop being spooked out and realize that the longer you stay blind to this, you're playing checkers and the enemy is playing chess, and he's going to have you in checkmate, even though you feel like you got a lot of more moves, all your moves going to come to a halt. And that's going to be it. You're done. That's the end of that game. That's how it works. He has you thinking you got more moves, but he's not playing chess. He's not playing checkers. He's playing chess, and he's moving. His moves have been moved generations back. Curses and stuff that need to be rebuked and stuff. He's been making moves on you out way back. And this is we have to look at and say, okay, how do I get in position where I'm not tricked and deceived by the enemy? How I'm not letting him tell me stuff. Don't let people pump you up and get you caught up into some kind of competition. Man, get out of all that. That competitive stuff, man, is not even worth anything. Unless it's a real showdown going on where the Most High is using you, how he exposed some stuff with the prophets of Baal and the real prophet, of Elijah, when he began to say the Yahoo answers by fire, that is Yah. Unless there's something realistic going on, don't get into a battle of the scriptures with nobody. When you're doing that, most of the time, unless you have some type of unction, I would say to actually, or you've been moved on by the Ruach to win this person over, what you battling for? Well, because when Paul went in, he contended with them about this word, that they may not be bound, that they may live according to righteous living. It wasn't about whether you can do one thing or not. It was the whole order and what they're supposed to be getting in. He came to get them into a whole different position. He didn't come to get, hey man, can I do this? I ain't nothing wrong with eating it. It wasn't none of that foolishness. That if the person can't hear you off to the side and say yay or nay and show them once and move on, don't get involved in. That's the thing. I'm not getting involved with no type of none of that stuff going on if it's not going to be fruitful, because most of it ends up to be unfruitful. It ends up to be slandering somebody's name. Getting them, it's not even, you get caught up into that. And now the enemy has tricked you to fight your brother. That's what we have going on. So it's the same thing, different than the one that's out there physically shooting each other, because now you're spiritually through the Ruach shooting each other. You're tearing each other down, coming against each other. You kind of like bringing real curses against each other because you're trying to literally destroy this person's image. And that's not of the Most High at all. Anyway, I think you left out from that. Okay, so we looked at that. Let's keep going to, and so basically, I'm not going to turn to a lot of, even Hebrews 12:4, it talks about we have not yet resisted sin, to the point where we bleed. Like you ain't gotten to a point where you striving to live, to a point where they're trying to kill you. So you have to still stand. After you've done all the stand, you have to still stand. You can't just fold. You can't allow the enemy to have you, well, okay, now I've done, you haven't done enough. If you're still breathing, you haven't done enough. You've done enough when you hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, enter into my rest. You should hunger no more, you should thirst no more, you should have no pain, no tears, for the former thing have passed away. When you still got this suit on, you ain't done enough. You're saying if you hadn't took this off and begin to put on that, which is immortality, then you haven't done enough. You have to be reclothed to a point. At that point, you've done enough. When you're into the new kingdom, long as we're here, you're still on the battlefield. The battlefield will keep going and keep going. It's not going to stop until they go up upon the breath of the earth. When you see the water, the battle again, it's not going to stop until the end. It's going to keep on going. I think we're in 6 and 13.
Go back to Ephesians.
Yeah.
Okay. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 13. Wherefore, okay, I read that. Read again.
Yeah, you did that. Go on, keep going.
Read 14. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the Basora, the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of belief, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Pause. So, and that's the thing. So the shield of belief, your faith. You can't even fight the enemy unless you believe you can fight them in the area that you're in. You have to have that shield of belief. And there's a lot of scriptures I didn't really look into, but I want to get into, even in Hebrew begin to talk about, the word, I think it's the vice versa. The other one did 12 and 4, but it's 4 and 12. It's a double-edged sword, cut and divided into the soul asunder. Okay, so basically, so we have to look at that for what it's worth. So that's what Yahushua Mashiach kept giving him the word. It is written. It is written. He cut him. He kept cutting him until he left. He cut him 3 times, then he got out of there. It said the angel started ministering, so he cut him. He kept cutting him. He wasn't trying to he was taking a stand. He was standing, and he kept cutting him. He kept trying to counteract them with a bunch of fools like that, and he kept cutting them over and over again. And so basically, we're looking at, let's look at Psalms 119. 4 and 5. I hate to keep trying. We got to kind of Psalms 119. We're still in Ephesians, but we got to back them up with other scriptures. So we're in Psalms 119. We're going to look at 104 and 105 of Psalms 119. Just two verses there. What page is it? So it'd be Psalms 119, verse 104, 105. Okay. I can get it on my phone. I can't see that little writing on there. So it'd be Psalm 119, verse 104 and 105.
Okay. Psalm 119.
Y'all give us a minute. We're trying to get this Psalm. Right. I didn't write that one down. I just went ahead. You can just read
Psalm 119. What verses?
104 and 105.
Okay. Psalm 119, verse 104. Through your precepts, I get understanding. Okay. Therefore, I hate every false way. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So
it just basically say, through your precept, I get understanding. I hate every false way. The word is a light unto my feet and a lamp unto my path. So basically, that's the light. You're walking in the light, and that's what Yahushua Mashiach was doing. He was walking in the light. That's why he said, it is written. And it shined light on the enemy. And he kept saying that it is written. He kept saying it is written, and he left. He don't want to hear the word. The whole thing, what people want you to do is, you ever had that conversation with somebody that say, well, if you've been reading a whole lot, you get kind of caught up into the scripture. You keep giving them a scripture example. They say, talk to me without the Bible. They'll say that. Well, they don't want the Bible because they know now they're finna be convicted. So conviction is going to come forth. That's the reason why I give the example. I'm not claiming to be a Christian. I'm not claiming to be no Hebrew Israelite. I'm claiming to be the people of the book. And when I say that, that makes it clear that I'm not a part of no type of cult, no part of no camp. I'm not in Christianity. I don't believe your paganism, but I do believe what the books say. And I make that very clear. And with that being said, there's no misunderstanding. Don't mix me up with you and your doctrine. Don't mix me up with you and your doctrine. No, I had to find that balance. And the balance is, what does this say? And what has happened? Christianity has caused us to ignore the things that it told us to do and to keep certain laws that you're supposed to be keeping and certain things you're supposed to observe. They're saying it don't matter. And then you have the Hebrews saying that Hebrew Israelite, which the word will be transformed, I think, into like Ibram or something like that. They're saying you need to do all this, all that, and all this and all that. And they're not even doing it. They're not even doing it to the example, because some of this stuff you got to give a 2-turtle dove. You got to be in Jerusalem, and they're not doing. They're putting a heavy burden upon you, and they don't even do it. That's why I'm saying. That's why we have to figure out what's our identity. I'm the people of the book. I'm the one that come through that lineage through the seed of David. I'm through the tribe of Yehuda. I'm not dealing with telling you I'm dealing with your Catholic church. I'm not putting no Christmas tree up and deal with Halloween and all this foolishness that you're doing in your paganism on your side. And on your side, you're not finna tell me that because my ox fell in the hole, I can't go get him. And when my ox falls in the hole, it's a day that now all of a sudden I got a bill to pay and I need to go to work today, even though I told you it's a Shabbat. I observed it, but now I need to go do something. I'm not going to hell because I went to work that day. Stop the foolishness. And that's where it comes in. I'm not going to let nobody put me in no box. Your Christianity side and your Hebrew Israelite side, you're not going to box me in. I'm going to get boxed in right here. where I figure out the dispensation I'm supposed to be in, and an ambassador of Yahushua HaMashiach, not following nobody that's telling me. When people ignore, when you've been deceived, the first thing you say is, okay, that's Christianity. Or you say, well, that's Hebrew. I'm not neither one. I'm the people of the book because I'm not identifying with no cult. When you say that you are actually something, what happens is they see the picture of that. You see people cussing people out. You see people deceiving folks, taking all their money. You see some type of cult leader like that. So you're going to see some image. Like if I say I'm a Republican, well now, oh, y'all evil. I'm Democrat. Oh, y'all support the gay. I'm not in none of that foolishness. That's the thing. The people of the book. And that's where we go down. That's why I make that clear. So when you hear something that you learn in church, only thing they did was took a page out of this book and start doing it. It don't mean that this Christianity, and when you hear something that you heard over in your camp, don't mean I'm with your camp leader at all. He just got some of the stuff I got from this book and twisted it. That's all that happened. You saw one or two things, you thought I was him or I was him, and I am not. The people of the book is who I am. And that's the reason why I make it very clear for anybody to hear this later. Don't mix me up with none of this foolishness that you see going on, because most people are not even gonna make it into the kingdom the way some of them are living. You see a ruach of darkness on most of them, or you see the ruach of deception on the others, like that. This false reality that in Christianity Jesus is gonna do it all. Don't do anything. That you say, okay, we got to do all this, and all this, in order for this to happen. Don't even worry about no fate. After all, now I'm the people. I just got the lifeline. I'm moving forward. Stop the foolishness. And realize that there's a balance that you have to find and get to that point where you say, now I'm a part of the kingdom of God and I'm doing things according to how I would be doing if I was back in the land, but I'm not in bondage. And that's the thing we have to look at. It's not going to get you into the kingdom saying that you are something. The bloodline is not what the enemy is after. He's after the ruach. He's after that soul. He's after what it is that he hated from the beginning. What is man that you think high of him? What is man? Like he's after that creation. Why did you create them and you created us? Why are they here? Why are we serving unto them? Why are we messaging for them? So we have to look at it and look at what's the enemy. The enemy is not mad because of the fact that you found out who you are. It's not mad about that. The enemy is mad because now you're trying to take a stand. This is what will make the enemy mad. This wake-up call, realizing that you've been deceived, that you went from one religion into another religion. But when you find the balance, that's when the enemy start getting upset, because now you say, oh man, he really waking up now. He ain't just thinking that now he's just gonna get in anyway. You went in from being tricked and deceived, thinking that there's nothing wrong with everything, just do anything under the sun, to now I'm gonna do this, and that, and I ain't got nothing else. I ain't gotta pray, fast, anything. I'm just going for, and I'm the people. That's it. So wear my fringe and it's over. I ain't gotta do nothing. So that's what we have to realize. Don't be deceived. Don't be tricked. I mean, and that's the thing we have to look at. Don't allow the enemy to cause you to be deceived to a point where you think you have made it. There's no lifeline. It's a fight every day. The Apostle Paul said, I'll die daily. He said, unless I myself be a castaway. And this is what I'm saying. So don't get tricked. Like the example I was showing you, everybody you're not meant to connect with, everybody you're not meant to be trying to, pray with and lay hands on just because you found out, oh, I'm so happy. This stuff, man, people just run into everybody, getting deceived, and they don't know what they done fell into. Like you have to still be led by the Ruach HaKodesh on how to move and maneuver. Other than that, you're going to find yourself playing checkers and not chess. The enemy is playing chess, and a lot of us don't watch it. We'll be checkmated. Just because we see these other moves on the board, we thinking we got more moves we can make. You don't have no more moves to make. He brought you to a halt. And there's only one way that you can move forward. Go back and find out where did you stop at from spirituality. Don't bring none of the foolish with you, but find out at what point did you stop walking spiritually with Yah. That's how you find to pick back up from when you've been deceived. And from that point, you get to that point and you move forward from there, not bringing the stuff from Christianity, not let nobody put you in bondage, but find out what are the people of the book and what are they supposed to be doing. That's how you get back to that place. Other than that, you find yourself just floating around thinking that it's okay. And that's it. A lot of people are really just walking around thinking that now they're Superman because they didn't find out they're Hebrews. Like, you're not Superman. The enemy, you're a greater target now. He's really trying to destroy you now because he thinks he may get even further with this. He may really realize now fringes won't save him. He don't want you to think that. I wear these for a witness so people can ask me questions. I can tell them about the word. I don't think I'm going to be not saved if I don't have on my fringes. I'm just letting that be known out loud. I wear them because I want to wear them. And I think I want to wear, I was just led to dress the code and to do it so it can prick people's understanding so they can see what it is different from me and them. It has nothing to do with salvation. Other than that, all this mixed wool and stuff, I got to take it off. There's certain wool you're not supposed to mix up. There's a lot of stuff you're not supposed to do. Certain material that says don't mix it, don't do it. A lot of stuff they said don't do. My wife got to leave the house for 7 days at a certain time, and we're going to do this the right way. I mean, that's it. You know, throw away the bed. I mean, just stop being foolish. You know, that's why they say, oh, foolish Galatians, who have be with you? They would say, who have be with you? That's what he was telling the Galatians, who have be with you? Like that. So it's like you can't get to a point where now you've made it. You're not going to be the made it. We have to realize also, don't be alone. Don't let the enemy make you think you can do this by yourself. You're going to find yourself fighting battles you can't fight. And pride will make you not call on somebody that can help you. That's the thing. And as long as you're trying to do it by yourself and you're on the battlefield, the enemy is going to always win. He's going to always win because you've been singled out. You've been thinking now everybody's bad. That's why I gave the example of Elijah. Every time these prophets got into trouble, they got off to themselves. Got off to themselves. He's on the run. Jezebel got this sucker on the run. On the run. He just on the run. He said, oh, you can kill everybody. He's crying, acting a fool. I'm just giving an example. Narrating, don't know if he's crying, but he's acting a fool, saying, hey, look, she done killed all the prophets. He told me, say, man, who you think I am? I'm the Most High. He said, I got 7,000 prophets that are not bowed down to the worship of Baal. Don't you dare say it's all everybody's evil and everybody's gone. You ain't everything. You don't see all. I see all. It's always somebody at the Most High. Most High got people out here who run circles around any next person with this word. When you think you learn it all, he got somebody to bring you to shame just to put that pride in check. And that's the thing. So that's what we have to realize, okay, what are we supposed to be doing and what battlefield are we on? Find out how do you identify in the battlefield. Everybody is not a lieutenant and a soldier. Some people are just entry level, E1. And you can't be saying you're a sergeant and you're E1, you haven't got the training yet. We're trying to skip to certain levels without the proper training that we need to be able to win the battle. You're not going to win the battle with the training of a foot soldier. You can't do it. Foot soldiers haven't even learned how to operate certain machines and certain equipment of battle. They don't know what to do. They're still learning. You have to go through training. A lot of people want to skip the training and just come to a point, and now all of a sudden they prophesying, laying hands and telling folks this and just running ambitious. Ambition doesn't get the battle won. Right. The battle gets won through obedience. And the only way you be obedient is just going back to what I always use. I think it would be, I think it's that scripture is Romans 12:1. Say, present your, see, I beseech thee, brother, by the mercy of Yah, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holding itself unto Yah, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable will of Yah. You know what I'm saying? Be not conformed to this system thing, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You have to reboot and reset. Get the deception out of the way, get the paganism out of the way. Get all this stuff out of the way, reset, and figure out what I need to do to win. You won't win trying to identify with some type of cult group or some type of pagan group. You won't win. Stop getting mixed up into what you've seen around you and realize what are the people of the book supposed to be doing. But anyway, so we're dealing with right living, right standing. And so basically, if you're standing, just keep on standing. Go ahead, baby. I think you picked up on Ephesians again. Yeah. 17, 11. So we're going back to Ephesians and finish this off. Soldiers at war. Soldiers at war.
It's for 17.
Yeah.
So Ephesians 6 and 17, and take the helmet of Yeshua, salvation, and the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of Yahuwah.
Okay, pause. So the helmet of salvation. When I looked at the helmet of salvation, I thought about, you actually in a position where now your head is actually covered. This is just what I thought about. Your head is actually covered. The helmet of salvation, you're saved. You're not just saved because you're saying you're saved. And when I hear helmet, it makes me think about what's covering my head. That's the order that I keep coming. That's why I say Eve was backdoored by Hasatan because Adam was gone. And that's it. And he came and tricked her and said, hey, you ain't gonna surely die. I mean, like that. So it's like, so the helmet, that's my head. I have to realize that, stop focusing on whether or not my wife is being, submission unto me, and be submission unto Yahushua, which is submission unto Yahuwah. Then at that point, I don't have to worry about the order falling. The oil is going to roll down. They say the oil rolled down like the precious oil. How beautiful it is for brethren to dwell together, like the precious oil that ran down Aaron's beard all the way to his apron. So it's going to, anointing is going to flow down. If you're under somebody and this person has either, I would say, a lesbianism spirit or a homosexual spirit, something on them, most of the time you're gonna see that spirit in that church. You're gonna start seeing that spirit roam around and be rapid in that church, because that's what we have going on. Look at the organ player. Man, just keep digging a little deeper and you'll find out him and the pastor may have some type of deal. I'm just keeping it real like that. So you have to realize what you have going on. I'm just giving you an example of order. The centurion soldier, he said, I'm not worthy to come unto your house, neither you to come unto you, neither you to be coming to my house. He said, I'm a man of authority myself. I have soldiers I tell to go here, to do this and do that. He said, and they follow my order. Just speak the word on it, and it'll be done. I believe you. He said, I've not seen such great faith like this. No, not in Israel. Just speak the word on it. He understood authority. The enemy respects authority. He respects order. He don't respect you running around thinking that now you can just cast this devil out, because remember the 7 sons of Sceva whooped them out their clothes. So remember, there is an order, and sometimes some things you're not ready to take on. Don't let nobody bring you into a battle you're not ready to fight. But when you're ready to fight that battle, 1 can chase 1,000 and 2 can put 10,000 to flight. Just remember that. So, you know, he said, wherever there's 2 or more gathered together in my name, he said, there am I in the midst. I'm there. And so that's the place where you'll realize, but even though he's saying he's there, that don't mean he gave you the power to just go just go do everything. You're not here to save the whole world. Everybody that coming to you, it's okay to say, no, we're not supposed to be connected. No offense, but nah, I'm good right now. Just tell them. That's it. Some people you're not supposed to connect with. We're not supposed to be free spirits. We're not supposed to just run around. People have certain positions and certain order. The army can't just go over there and fight in the water with the Navy. They're going to drown. They weren't trained to be skillful on the water and to maneuver like that. So let's keep it real. People that learn the battle in the wilderness, they're not learning how to go in the air. They're going to crash the plane. That's the thing. That's why it has to be an order, like the body, the head, arms. Yeah, everybody's not the head. Everybody's not the arms. Everybody's not the feet and legs. We have to look at the body works just like a machine. And it comes together. It works in unity. It works in peace. It works in harmony. The problem is everybody's trying to be something they're not. If you are some prophet or something else, wherever you are, don't tell me you're that. Do it. I want to see it. I want to see it. I don't want to hear what you tell me that you're doing. I want to see what you're doing. That's the thing. People work will follow them. That's why he told Timothy, do the work of an evangelist. Make full proof of your ministry. He said, I want to see what you have done. Don't tell me you're one. We got this big prophet coming in town, blah, 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 blah. Man, look, miss me with that. Most of the time, these people are operating in the flesh, or either they hear a familiar spirit, or they learn to be skillful and to follow you. Like I say, these names you're using, everybody know a John and a Paul. You know a John trying to snap their finger. What are you guessing? Stop this. So we just have to look at, who are you? That's it. That's why that's one of the main deceptions. I just had to go back to that, a false prophet and a prosperity gospel preacher. One that's telling you everything that's sweet and good. That's the same thing that those preachers did. That's what they have. They preach sweet stuff to them. Michael came, tore his world up, say, look, y'all finna get slaughtered and you gonna die too. That's it. So anyway, I would say, so be it, you got more for you. So anybody got anything, they can go forth. This just been kind of heavy on me, just realizing that we're on the battlefield. That's why soldiers at war. If we don't realize we're at war, we won't fight. So we think that we can't be an island and do it by ourselves, thinking we don't need nobody. That's one of the greatest weapons of him. He said, we think he got it together. Now I'm finna come against me. And you sitting there suffering. Somebody can help you and you won't because of pride. That's another ruach of the enemy. That ruach of pride. So it got you not asking for help. It got you not asking nobody to, like I would say, that that you may have that can touch and agree with. You can be anybody. And you're not saying anything because you've been tricked to don't share no business with. You don't tell everybody your business, but some people you have to have as accountability partner so you can tell them something so this stuff can be confessed like that. And if you're not doing it, then what happens is it begins to hover inside of you and you begin to have a hardness about you and you begin to be weighed down and you can't move forward because you allowed yourself to be tied down. Anyway, soldiers at war is what we're dealing with the tactics and the wiles of the enemy and how he comes to disrupt order. That's what he comes to do. He wants to have a lawless society. People that don't respect no type of nothing, like, look, I can do all this myself. Whole while you got a story to get whooped. And if it was all about money, the rich people wouldn't be committing suicide. They wouldn't be killing themselves and doing stupid stuff. It's not the money. Like that, seek ye first the kingdom of Yah and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. We seek that through right living. You live right, the Most High will begin to, begin to rock you and stuff like that. You won't be in a position where it's always you.
All right, baby.
Y'all, I guess on that. So basically, like I was saying, we're Eddie just said, but living from check to check, you ain't got to worry about being in a position where you're constantly struggling when you allow the Most High begin to lead and guide you and have you in a position where you're not actually trying to do it by yourself. So I didn't want to hear that. That's hey, that's a sign right there. Now I would use that as a sign. Like that. So, but anyway, y'all, we just want to make sure we're in position to be able to know the tactics of the enemy and maneuver around and realize we're on the battlefield.